Hey, everybody. You are in the right place to get immediate relief from a high stakes conflict or betrayal. I'm your host, speaker, author, and coach, Karyn Amore, and it's such an honor to have you joining me here today for this really important topic that is so near and dear to my heart. I'm going to give you 10 do's and don'ts. These are really critical, especially if you're in those wild emotions where you're spinning. Something precious is at stake in your life. It might be your livelihood. It might be, like it was for me, your children. Something extremely precious, your closest relationship. You just learned that something has betrayed the trust. I am here to share some of my experience so that you can avoid the devastating financial and emotional consequences of acting rather than reacting. And believe me, I've been in your shoes and I've been on all sides of high stakes conflict. I myself was having an affair and then confessed it to my husband, and it created all kinds of consequences that we're still healing from now in therapy all these years later. And he took my children from me when they were 3 and 5. And we went through an incredibly devastating marriage and family custody battle on 2 continents. And I didn't see my precious 3 and 5-year-old boys for 8 months. So I didn't get to tuck them into bed and tell them a bedtime story. I wasn't part of their daily lives for 8 months. And all of that could have been avoided if I knew what I know now and what I teach and guide my clients to. So I'm going to give you my 10 essential tips today. And if you don't want to write them down, you can just participate, take it in. We'll get moving and grooving in your body, because when you've been struck by something this big, you've got to outlet it. So I'm not saying you're supposed to buck up and not express, because there's a lot of energy and motion when you discover you've been betrayed or you're on any side of a high stakes conflict where your livelihood, your closest relationship, your children, something extremely precious to you is in peril or on the line. And so we're going to have some fun today. This can actually, I know that it is deeply painful. And the best thing we can do is be really real. So you're going to get a chance to be absolutely real, as well as to discover where your best counsel lies, and that's within yourself. So we're going to do some exercises to release the grip that those wild emotions take on you, on your mind, that spinning out of control, going to give you some immediate relief. And then help you tune into your best counsel so that you don't go higher, and like I did. I had a best friend and she told me, now that the other party's represented legally, if you don't get representation right away, it's like you walking in high heels at midnight in a bikini in a really dangerous neighborhood. And I thought, well, that's the last thing I want to do. And so I ran out, thought I was getting good counsel as far as referrals and this kind of thing, but ended up not having good legal representation and spending my life savings and learning a heck of a lot in the process. So I've got some practical grounding do's and don'ts, and also do's and don'ts that will help you move that emotion so that it doesn't take you over and you're not giving all of your power away to the wild emotions that absolutely have a place and they need to be expressed. And so let's dig in. And if for any reason you're the kind of person who learns better or just likes a written document, and so you don't have to take notes today, you can pick up 3 free gifts from me. They're all in one place. You just entrust me with your email, best email, name, and your cell phone if you want to. That's an option because there are cool ways with today's technology to keep you up to date via SMS and text. So if that's an option for you, it's not necessary. But if you want to pick up these 10 essential do's and don'ts to bring you through a high stakes conflict back to your peace so that you can make the best decisions for the long term and get some relief from that wildness that's happening now, visit right now. Just open another browser window and go pick these up. These are my gifts to you, a written form of the 10 do's and don'ts. You'll also receive, you keep scrolling down, it's one long ebook document. You scroll down, there's a version of my story, so you get to know me a little more, what I've been through, and just to know you're not alone. You are not alone in this. And as well, there is a workbook at the very end at ridethedragon.biz, ridethedragon.biz, ridethedragon.biz. And the ebook it's a workbook, it's interactive, it's really fun, but it will help you tap into your truth, to your best counsel, become resilient. And I like to say resiliency gets a bad rap, but it is one of the sexiest things I know, because if you can really learn to manage all aspects of you through high stakes betrayals, through high stakes conflicts, that is sexy. And take the responsibility that you have in it. I mean, I've been really humbled. I have full responsibility in the conflicts that have arisen in my life. And also how to have boundaries around the emotion, when and where to express them fully, how, when not to send that email. I know it's brilliant. I know that you feel totally justified in seeking revenge or seeking just justice. You've been wronged. And today in my 10 do's and don'ts, I will share why you should never send those emails. Do write them. We're going to give you space and time to get all that stuff out, express your brilliance, express everything you want to do to the person who's done you wrong. Yes, that is very important. Don't hold that stuff inside. And I will go through the 10 do's and don'ts in a more linear way, but just to connect with you and let you know that I hear you. I know you're in great pain, especially if this is raw or fresh, or maybe it's been going on for a long time and you've given so much power away to this conflict that it's affecting your health, it's affecting everything in your life. And let me tell you, I mean, these situations have big enough energy to them that they can take you over, and that's part of what these tips are going to help you reclaim your power in your situation so that you can actually get a long-term resolution. You can restore yourself to peace. All right, so again, I'm Karyn Amore, and you can learn more about me at KarynAmore.com, but I do encourage you to pick up the whole package at ridethedragon.biz. Free gifts from my heart to yours with these 10 critical do's and don'ts that I'm about to share with you right now. So you don't have to take notes. You can just go through this on your own way and time today. And then there is a copy of my story, a brief copy of my story, as well as a workbook to build that sexy resiliency and get to know what your core truths are and how vulnerability is your ally. And that's probably going to be a topic of a whole other Tapas Tuesday. So let's dig into these 10 critical do's and don'ts. So you just learned that your partner has been stealing money from your business. Someone that you thought you trusted, that you're sharing funds with, has been ripping you off. And you're pissed. You are justifiably angry, hurt, all of that. Or maybe you just got the confirmation of that sense you had that your romantic partner has been sleeping with someone else, and that wasn't part of your agreements. And so that feels really, really bad. All right, I know, I've been there. I've been on both sides of that. And maybe it's just that a close friend or a family member shared something that's near and dear to you in a way that was not part of your agreements, and you feel betrayed. You feel as if you've been outed, and in some way, agreements that you held dear have not been upheld. All right. So I know that you want and you need to outlet all the anger, all the pain, all the rage that is in your body, that is just spinning in your mind and doing that. But the first do and don't is don't take action from that place. I'm going to give you a chance in just a second to outlet that, but do not go throw your partner's clothes out of the house. I know that would feel good in the moment, but it won't lead to your long-term resolution. Don't go to withdraw the rest of the money out of the joint account that you have with your business partner, because that will have legal implications that will come back and haunt you and bite you in the end. And I know you'd be justified, but believe me, not only have I made all these mistakes myself, I wrote a really inflammatory email and then hit send, and it totally upset my partner. And then, you know, once you act from that big emotion, you can set into motion this whole thing that causes all kinds of reactions, that whole chain, like an avalanche, and it'll end up crashing down on you. So don't act, don't call the first attorney that you see, you know, accident help. Don't go chasing down a police car and say, come, I need your help, unless you really do. I mean, if it is an emergency where you need help because something clearly has been stolen, then of course go through all those steps. But if it is a close personal relationship where there's been a betrayal, you need to outlet that, but don't start to act from that place. So number one, don't make any immediate decisions or take drastic actions. Number two is, I'm reading because I get so excited about all this that I have to share, and I want to be sure I give you the full scoop. And also remember, you can download all of this at ridethedragon.biz. So it's a little opt-in page, shows my picture. I will not rent or sell or use your email address or your phone number if you decide you want to interact via text message with me. That's just coming to me. I manage all those contacts, and you can opt out at any time. But this is so that you can pick up my 3 free gifts, which includes the written version of the 10 do's and don'ts in a critical high stakes betrayal or conflict, so that you can come back to peace, make really good decisions. and outlet all that wild emotion that gets stirred up, because it just does. We're human. We are human. All right, so number 2, you're not going to, number 1 was don't make any decisions or take drastic action. I know you want to, don't. Number 2 is do reach out to a trusted friend and choose one of the people. I know that you're going to want sort of your most fiery ally right now, who's going to be like, that mother blanker, blah, 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 did you wrong, and we're going to get our revenge. Don't choose that person. It really won't serve you. What you need to do right now is, even if this is not fresh, this is something that's been obsessing you for years. Oh my gosh, God forbid. Definitely pick someone who's a calmer presence, and you know who those people are in your life, and set up this exercise. So tell them that you need to tell them a story, and almost anyone is happy to hear a story, and that you're going to set a timer so that both you and that other person know that you're not going to let it go out of control and just dump and dump and dump on them, because you do need to dump, but you need to respect the person who's going to witness you, and that you don't need any advice, okay? It may feel a little counterintuitive, but the more discipline you can bring to your freak out, the more effective and helpful for your long-term resolution it's going to be for you. So you're going to call your calmest friend and you're going to say, I need to tell you a story. I need to rant. I need to outlet. I'm probably going to use a lot of potty language. I may talk about violence, and I don't want you to take it seriously. I don't want you to call the social workers or whatever. I just need you to witness me and witness my freak out and listen to me. I don't want any advice. I'm going to set a timer for 10 minutes and I am going to let it rip. So you may have never seen me in this crazy of a situation or state, but I am going to set a timer, and for 10 minutes, I'm going to let it rip. And then I need you, and so you're telling your friend, and again, it's all in the written version of the 10 critical do's and don'ts when you find out you've been betrayed. So pick that up at ridethedragon.biz as a reference. But make sure that you set this timer and you honor it. So get it all out, do everything you can. And if you don't feel like you've gotten out everything after 10 minutes, your friend is okay with you adding another 10 minutes, you can negotiate the time, okay? If it's a really big deal and you feel like you need more ranting time, what's important is not the amount of time, but that you have an agreement and that you set boundaries around the wild emotions. So you give yourself an opportunity to say everything you're feeling. I mean, really go for the jugular and get it out of your body. If you dance around, scream, yell, do whatever you need to move that stuff so it doesn't get stuck in your physical body and then come out in other ways. And I mean, let it rip, but then put a lid on it. So number 3 is, while you're still in the presence of that trusted friend who's just there to witness, you're going to have an agreement on the time, and then you're going to stop and you're going to put that whole story, the whole scenario. And believe me, if I could have done this when my kids were not coming back and what happened is I had an affair. I confessed it. I didn't have any legal representation. I didn't know what was going on. I stopped seeing the other person. I was in the middle of yoga teacher training, and And then my husband wanted to take our boys back to his country, and we had just moved over here. I mean, there was so much high stakes complication in our whole story. And he took the kids, and then he started, and I sent an inflammatory email because I really missed the kids about 3 weeks after they had left. And I wrote something like, if you were a real man, you'd bring them back now, and blah, blah, blah. And so he was reacting to me, and and we got ourselves in this whole huge conflict where our kids were in the middle, because what's the highest stake in two loving parents who love their kids but their kids? And so he was using his legal power to try to prove me unfit. And woo, that was the most huge challenge of my life. But rather than having these disciplines that I know now and getting all that emotion out of my body with a trusted friend, I went like, oh my gosh, I have to prove I'm not unfit. I have to prove that I love my kids and hire attorneys and do all this stuff that just fed the conflict. And so if I had known what I know now, and I could have put a lid on that and trusted, really trusted, and I hope you can trust this too. Nothing truly precious can ever be taken away from you. You are whole. You are complete. And even the things that feel the most at risk right now, and that they're going to be taken away forever if you don't defend yourself, protect yourself, go for the jugular, do whatever, that is an illusion. And so you do need to express it all, and you do need to feel all of those huge freak out feelings. And I've been there, and I had to wail, and it brings tears to my eyes right now. I just miss those boys so much. And, one of them was supposed to start kindergarten, and I would walk by the school every day on my way to work and just think, like, what is my little boy doing? And he wasn't there to start school. It was really hard. And so give yourself times to cry, for goodness sake. Cry, rant, rage. And before you make the other practical decisions, put a lid on the story and do whatever. And the workbook that's part of ridethedragon.biz, part of those gifts that are there for you, will help you identify your personal practices for coming back to your calm center. So step number 3 is, after you've ranted to your friend, getting back to the concrete here, after you've ranted to your friend, you want to put a lid on the story and trust in yourself and the goodness of the universe. We really do live in a benevolent universe, and you don't have to worry that what is most precious to you is going to disappear forever. Even death is not permanent. Okay? So feel it, and feel how precious whatever is at stake is to you, and then trust and entrust it. You might even call it a God box. And if you don't believe in God and that doesn't mean anything to you, put it in your little bunny foo-foo box. Whatever will bring a smile to your face, because this is when you need it most. So put a lid on that. And that is step number 3. So the first thing is, no drastic reactions, no actions, no big decisions. Number 2, do schedule that rant, put some boundaries on it, have agreements, keep those agreements, because the more agreements you can keep in your life right now, the better you'll feel on either side of a betrayal. And I'll get to why that's so important in just a second. And then put a lid on it and do not open it. Go do something else with that friend. And I know how hard that is, because it's like having a scab or something new in your mouth, your tongue. You keep wanting to roll over the story in your mind and figure out what you could have done differently. Oh, but you knew all along, and you're conjuring like, I could have avoided this, or what an idiot I am because I didn't call him out sooner, or whatever is all those reactions. Just put them away and go do something with your friend that is not related to the story. You get a pedicure, but don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. Give yourself total boundaries around that. Give it away and put it in a safekeeping. Use all the energy to keep a lid on that box. Okay? And guarantee yourself, make an agreement with yourself that you'll schedule regular freak out dates, because you're going to need them, and times just to let those tears flow, let the wild mind, I call it my paranoid writer, and it can still get going no matter what. I mean, and I sing the little Beatles song, paranoid writer, and I have a really great paranoid writer, but that doesn't help me create long-term solutions. So I can get out the paranoid writer, praise it for how crazy and what a great story it can weave and all that, but I'm not going to buy into it. Oh my gosh, I've been going on for so long. Let me go more quickly through these 10 do's and don'ts. Goodness gracious, I was not paying attention at the time. All right, so you put everything in a box, and now you're going to go do something kind for a stranger. I'm serious. Start volunteering. You've never done that before. Now is a great time. Just pay the bridge toll for someone behind you. Do random acts of kindness that have nothing to do with your situation. Look at that homeless person who's been on the corner of your block forever. Look them in the eye and go buy them a sandwich. Maybe even, if you're inclined, ask them about their life. Just weave in some interruptions that will take you away from spinning over your own situation. All right. Number 5 is don't blame yourself. Like I said, I've been the one who has betrayed an agreement. I've been the one who has been falsely accused of all this crap in the highest stakes situations that there could be. I mean, it had to do both with my livelihood and with my role as a mom to my sons. I mean, it just doesn't get any more intense than that. And yet, and a lot of law of attraction teachings, we are responsible, but we're not responsible in a blaming way. And so spinning into blaming the other person or yourself, it won't help you achieve that long-term peace and resolution. So there's more on the actual written 10 do's and don'ts about not blaming yourself, but go pick that up and read it at ridethedragon.biz. Okay. And do write or act out your rants and don't send them. So write all that brilliant, biting, cruel stuff that you want to say or get out, and get it out. Get it out of yourself. And don't hold back, but don't send it. And don't think, because even with my dad, we've had these different series of letters where he just really feels like he needs to send me something and tell me how he's feeling. And I'm going to tell him this directly. So, at a certain point when you're adults, I don't think I want to receive those. I want to tell him, write it all out, Dad, get it out of yourself, but don't send it to me anymore, because I don't think it's that constructive for our relationship. So keep having those rant dates and be sure that you check in with the person and make sure that you're not over killing it, because you need to set the boundaries and the time frame. Otherwise, you're just going to push a lot of people away who you really need right now in your life. And yet you do need to outlet those emotions because they're real, they're valid, and there's nothing wrong with them. They're just showing you that something that you hold dear feels like it's at risk right now. And so move all that energy and just don't send it, don't let it go to feed the fire of the conflict, okay? And don't give your power away. And this, again, can be easier said than done. And in the written whole ebook, you get more specifics on this. But do your best to practice the things that calm you, that bring you into your best self so that you can receive your own best counsel, and do that. And so don't let this whole situation, no matter how high stakes it is, rob you of your precious sleep, rob you of nourishing yourself with good food. You know, it's during these times that we most often turn to our addictions and vices. And then that, again, is that reactive spiral that's just going to take you deeper into the conflict and give your power away rather than bring you back to your calm, grounded center where you can make the best decisions for the long term. So do write and record yourself giving yourself your best counsel. So I really encourage you, once you've found those things, for me, it's walks in nature. For a while, it was daily yoga practice and meditation. Whatever it is for you that brings you into your calm, quiet center, do a little of that, and then write and record yourself giving yourself that counsel that you need, reassuring yourself that it's going to be okay, because it really is. It really is. And really listening to your own inner wisdom and guidance tell you the steps to take day by day and to create the longer term resolution that you most want. And focus on that and really listen to it and practice doing what that part of you advises, and see what results you get in your life. And let me know too. I always love hearing from you and your success stories. And don't forget the law of impermanence. So everything passes, and you have a choice in any moment to fuel the conflict and have that fire keep burning and get bigger and bigger, and more of your furniture and all your stuff go up in flames, or to look at containment and, without bypassing the emotions, without trying to stuff them down, without ignoring the importance of expressing it fully. I cannot overemphasize that you need those freak out dates. You absolutely do. I don't want you to like suck it up and hold it all inside, because that will backfire just as hard. And know that everything will pass. And the more time and attention that you can give to tuning into your own best counsel, that will build your confidence in yourself, that self-trust that's often rocked or taken away when you go through a betrayal, especially with the people who are closest to you. So definitely remember that this too shall pass, and take the best care of yourself that you possibly can. You cannot be too compassionate with yourself at this time. And do seek support. I would love to be of support to you. And, you know, if this has touched you today, I have a questionnaire on my website at KarynAmore.com. It's the first part of my blog right now. But if this is touching you and you just feel like you can't even spend 20 minutes to fill out a questionnaire, and you would just really appreciate having me as an ally right now, just send me a quick email, Karyn, Karyn, yes, my dad gave me a nice Y instead of an E, Karyn at wildsexyfree.com. That's my email address. Shoot me an email and just say, you know, I would love to take you up on that offer for a free 60-minute Get Relief Now session. And not only will I give you a chance to rant, because I know how important that is, and that'll give me a really good picture of what you're going through right now, but I'll also share the 6 areas of high performance. And what I've found as I've been digging into my coaching practice and what people need most, these principles of high performance fit so beautifully with the work that I was already doing with resiliency and tapping into your calm and your relaxation in times of great challenge and where the highest stakes have come to the surface. So those elements of high performance are really a foundation that you can develop for yourself and make your life into what you really aspire it to be, rather than a constant battle with this fire of conflict that takes so much energy. It really does. It's been a pleasure to be with you today. Again, to pick up the 10 tips, the 10 do's and don'ts when you've been betrayed, as well as 2 other free gifts from me, just entrust your name and your best email at ridethedragon.biz, and you'll immediately receive a document you can download, a thank you from me. Have a great Thanksgiving. If you're in the US, peace be with you. It is possible to go through these really challenging, big emotional times, regain your center, and actually create an extraordinary life for yourself. I'm living proof, and there's nothing I'd be more honored to do than to witness your rant and help you come up with your personal strategies for receiving your counsel from your inner wisdom and creating the life that you absolutely love. All right, take good care, and I'll see you in a couple weeks.